we're talking about construction, I should have just went and grabbed you a hard hat.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Speaking of hard hats, you know how I bought that hard hat at the store or whatever? I had it in the greenhouse. I ran over it with the tractor and it completely smashed it. And I was like, oh, freak. Well, I go back out there a week later and the greenhouse gets up to like 200 degrees or whatever. You know, it gets super hot in there. And the helmet went back to shape. And you couldn't even tell I ran it over. I was like, what the heck? It was crazy.
So, will it still work?
Yeah, didn't even break it. Well, welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the Eldredge family. If you guys are new here, once a week, usually, we do what we call a sit-down video where we're just going to go over different topics. It's our Sunday here, and we're just taking it a little bit easier. We're not really working on much.
It's kind of like our podcast.
Kind of like our podcast, our weekly podcast episode, once a week. Although we haven't done it for like 3 weeks, I don't think.
We've only ever done it once, maybe
twice. No, we definitely have done it twice. Anyhow, today we're going to be going over the top 5 mistakes that we have made in our 4 years of living in remodeling.
Yep, it's been 4 years.
4 years of remodeling houses that we've lived in.
The only of our almost 5-year marriage, we've only spent 6 months not remodeling. Not even, because we remodeled your parents' house during that
6 months. Yeah. So a little bit of a brief history. Marcy and I got married in 2019, end of 2019. The week we got married, we bought a house and we had to completely gut it and start from zero. They had cats, and Marcy, she loves cats, but we had to rip out the carpet.
Yeah.
Now, Marcy actually hates cats, and she's really allergic to them, and there was cat pee in the carpet and the walls and everything.
Yeah, it was gross.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was gross. And Crandall
And the house was just dingy.
Yeah, and Crandall did a beautiful job remodeling it. I helped so much.
No, she helped like this much.
I was a full-time student and I worked.
And I was a full-time student and dad.
For 2 weeks. And no, you weren't a dad.
But the crazy thing is we started that the week, we closed on the house the week we got married, like on a Monday. We got married on Friday or Saturday, I don't even know. But we got back from our honeymoon on Black Friday, and we didn't have a toilet, we didn't have running water, we didn't have anything. Thankfully, I still had my lease in my house that I had rented for college. And so Marcy and I went and stayed
in your twin bed.
In my twin bed at my house that I had been renting.
And all of his roommates were gone.
Everybody was gone for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so it was just us in this house that he lived with all of his roommates, but they were gone.
So we the next day we got up, we went and got a toilet and did all of that. So I guess
our first purchase as a married couple was a toilet.
Yeah, and I will tell you, we used every dollar we got from our wedding, from gifts and things like that, to go buy a toilet, flooring, paint, like all of that kind of stuff. We spent all of our wedding money on the house.
Yeah, like the table we had was like a free one that we found on Facebook Marketplace. We did spend money on a bed, but our bed now, 4 years later, sucks.
Yeah, we got a bed for $350, and we're still using it.
And it's awful.
We're ready for a new one.
Yeah.
So I guess our first mistake, or the first thing that we would have done differently, is don't buy a house that you have to completely gut, remodel, and move into, and get married in the same week.
Yeah, it was really overwhelming. I remember you being like, I need a paint color, and me being like, I have finals, I have work, I have a wedding this week. Like, what do you want me to do? And so we quickly picked all of the finishes for this house like in 2 days, and it turned out to be very cool. Like, it was cold. Like, the colors of the house, the floor was really gray, the walls were like blue gray, white-ish color. Like, the countertops ended up being gray, the grout was gray. Like, it was and we lived in Utah, in Logan, Utah, so it gets really cold there and it's really gray outside, and it just felt like that in our home.
It was just too cold. It was like a little cave kind of.
Yeah, and so when we moved into this house, Crandall was like, no gray.
Yeah.
No. And like, there is no gray in this house at all.
Yeah, no, we did pretty good.
Yeah.
It's more of a light sandy color as this house, and that's to match the dirt.
Yeah, big. To match the dirt so you can't see it.
So I would say so what do they say about marriage and remodeling, Mars?
That remodels ruin marriages.
Well, we did our remodel. We started it right when we got married, and we've been going strong for 4 years, and we've got a great marriage. So we're proof that isn't always true, I guess.
I wonder if it'll get better when
we're not remodeling.
When we're not remodeling.
Probably. Although, is that ever gonna happen? Because it sure doesn't seem like it.
I don't know. That brings us to number 2. The second thing that that's 3.
Yeah.
Because number 2 was the cool colors. So this is number 3, and we'll skip ahead to Crandall's parents' house that we remodeled. They bought their house like a year after we got married in Texas. We were living in Texas. They were still in Utah, and we were remodeling it for them. When I say we mean Crandall.
Yeah, so they bought the house in Texas, and it was about 30 minutes away from where we were living in Texas, and they hired me to do all of the remodel and rebuilding work on it.
Yep. And Crandall is a rock star at remodels. We know that now. But one thing we learned from that one was to definitely make sure that you like your paint color and your flooring, because not your paint color, is to definitely make sure that you like your flooring that's going in. Crandall ended up having to rip up the bathroom floor in his parents' bathroom, because once he laid it, he was like, Mom,
this looks so bad.
Dad, this is bad. Like, let's take it out. Like, it's not even worth keeping. And I just remember us being like, ooh, that sucks.
Yeah, so we did. I tiled like half of their master bathroom, which was pretty big. It was probably 50 square feet that I had tiled. And once I looked at it, I was like, this looks so bad. The texture and the color and everything on the tile
was really like veiny. It kind of looked like it splattered paint. Like gray paint had been splattered all over the floor.
Yeah, so we went and we found one that was similar but looked good, and that's what we ended up putting in.
And it's really nice.
Yeah.
It's almost our bathroom floor, almost the exact same, but ours is polished and theirs isn't.
Yep.
So it's a really pretty floor now, but that was definitely, it cost them money, it cost Crandall time. And so it was just one of those things that we learned.
And sometimes
Make sure
you never know.
it.
And that's another thing I would say is if you're getting your work hired out, hopefully you have a guy or gal or whoever's doing it that can say, wait, something is off here.
Yeah, it's not gonna look good.
And catch it. And maybe you want to do it, and they're gonna do it. But it's good always to have kind of a second opinion, especially once, because you never know when you're holding up one piece and you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna look great. It's nice to be able to kind of lay it out and be like, oh yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Change it up. So number 4 is something that happened in this house, and a lot of y'all commented, don't do this, but we did it anyway, and we learned our lesson. And that is our tile floor through the whole house.
Yeah.
The problem is I love it. I love that it's tile, but the tile that we picked has a very rough texture, which is what I wanted at the time, because I was like, I don't want it to feel like
I want it to feel
flat.
like wood.
I want it to feel like wood. And now that I'm thinking about it, wood is perfectly flat. Like hardwood floors or whatever, like they're perfectly smooth.
I feel like we wanted it to have a grain.
Yeah,
like
to have texture.
We wanted it to have texture, and it's a beautiful floor. Like it really is. But how it is because it has that texture, it means it has lots of grooves in it, and those grooves are extremely hard to clean. Like it's not the coldness, it's not the grout that I hate. It's the groove in the tile. It's the groove in the tile, because you have to scrub it to get that dirt out. And especially where we didn't build, but we have removed all the grass around our house. We kind of live around a sandbox. That sand just comes into the house. And so I do like having one consecutive flooring throughout the house, but I don't like specifically the flooring.
The tile that we got. So we may in the future replace it, but for right now, we're just living with it. And by next year, this time we'll have grass. Actually, I say that's probably not true. 2 years from now, we'll have grass.
We have to have grass. We have to have grass.
If we're gonna add on to the house, then we won't.
We actually have 6 things, because we'll talk about that one as our last, but I feel like I have to put a plug in here and say for my number 5 or my number 4.5 is I have learned to, and I mean, y'all is probably different because you don't have a man like this. Well, I mean, you might, but like most of you probably don't. I wish I would have trusted Crandall from the beginning. There's so many times I have doubted what he's capable of, and I shouldn't have. So I'm sorry.
Hey.
What you have done in every single house is completely amazing, and I cannot wait for you to finish this entertainment center this week.
I don't know if that's actually happening this week, but definitely in the next 2 weeks. You gave me a deadline of the 15th.
I did give you a deadline of 15.
I'm not...
I was just hoping.
I know, I was hoping too that we were going to get the stuff yesterday for it and that we could do it, but
we haven't.
If y'all watched our video, actually the video will be out tomorrow because, yeah, it'll be out tomorrow about our fiasco yesterday. Yesterday was a complete whirlwind and waste of time. It was awful.
No, we did a lot.
Well, we did, but I still ended up wasting half the day.
Yeah.
The whole first half of the day. It was, yeah. Anyways.
Number 5.
The last thing. Go for it, Mars.
So from the very beginning, we moved into this house, and as soon we
okay. I know where you're going with this. We gotta change gears a little bit.
Okay.
When we bought this house, we thought we would only live here for 3 to 5 years. Okay? It's been 2.5.
Good job.
Oh, you're talking to me?
He got it right for the first time ever.
Well, it seems like we've lived here for 5 years. But we've lived here for 2.5 years, and now we're at the point of we actually really like this house. We like the property. We like where we live.
We love the location.
Which Marcy hated for the first year, but now
2 years.
2 years until 2 weeks ago.
Not even.
But now we're like, okay, well now we want to stay here. But that brings us back to originally this is a 3-bed, 2-bath house, 1,800 square feet, I think 1,700, 1,800, and we had planned on not having twins. And so we thought that this house would last us longer as far as the bedroom and bathrooms go. Now, obviously, our boys are sharing, but it doesn't leave any room for a guest room or anything like that.
Yeah, and when we originally bought this house, the 3 things I hated about this house are that it didn't have an entry, that it doesn't have a master closet really, and that the master bathroom is tiny.
The whole master suite is just
yeah,
tiny.
It's basically your standard bedroom with a little powder bath that happens to have a shower.
Yep.
It is so small, and that was my biggest concern from the beginning when we bought this house.
Yeah, so now we're into it 2.5 years, and we're like, yeah, we could be here for another 7 years, be here for 10 years. It wouldn't be that surprising if we got to that
point. You
point.
hear that crash?
Yeah, Mary's in there doing quiet time, and he's going at it. So now we've started talking about adding on and how we would do that, where we would do that, and all of that. So I guess number 5 isn't really necessarily a mistake or a negative thing because life happens, and it just makes us have to redo some of the work that we've already done. We don't know where we're going to add the addition, but wherever we do,
if we're going to,
or 100% if we're going to, things could change. But if we did, it's we're going to have to rip out the laundry room or rip out our bedroom or, and have to redo that work. But like I said, you just never know.
I didn't even think about ripping out the laundry room.
Yeah.
That's an option, huh?
Yeah.
But I love the floor.
Yeah, that actually is a really
That's
sweet
the
floor.
only reason, everything else, you can remove the countertops and reuse them. It's only the floor that can't really stay in.
Yeah, that's true. And I don't think we can get that floor again because we got it for $1 a square foot instead of $20 a square foot.
Oh, I love the floor in our laundry room. But yeah, we have talked about adding on, and when we talked about it originally, we could have still done it at that point, left an open area to do it. And now we've closed off all those areas. We forgot about it.
We got rid of the door here and we put a window and we put a door there where, if we add on this side of the house, we wouldn't have done either of those things because it would have laid out differently.
Yeah, and then exterior wise, we put the greenhouse where we did, and now we had to put the shop in a different location. And so now adding on, it's weird on the exterior because now you've cut your yard in half. So
yeah.
There's just some things with that have made it difficult to really think about, but it is something that if we want to stay here, we kind of have to do.
Yeah, we want to do it.
Mostly because I like
a bigger bedroom, bathroom, and all of it. She has literally this much counter space, y'all. I'm not even kidding.
And not awful. Even to mention to put our clothes in the closet, you have to turn them sideways because the closet shares the closet with the twins' closet. And there's that, you saw when we installed the power stations into the closet in there, there's power stations and there's a box, the electrical box in their closet. So the wall had to go further onto our side of the closet. And so our hangers don't fit. They have to go sideways.
Yeah, it's quite a jerry rig.
So I would like to be able to have some closet space.
Have some actual closet space.
So that's something I wish we would have thought of. And I know we have that other closet, but right now it's being used as an office for Grandma.
Yeah, that's also true.
So
So those are kind of those are 5 or 6 things that mistakes we've made or things we would have done differently. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit from that. If you're ever in that stage of remodeling or doing those remodeling, that's some things to keep in mind. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. We are cruising outside, getting stuff built.
It looks so good.
We've put some stuff into the storage containers, which is nice. Over the next couple of days, we got to empty the storage unit.
yeah, which means as soon as he couldn't start the countertops.
I couldn't do the entertainment center until we had the
The
containers.
the containers in place, loading them with the stuff so that he could bring things over here from the storage unit for the countertops. And now that's happened. So I'm so excited for this, for that. It's gonna look great.
Yeah, we got a lot of good stuff coming. If you guys are new here, thank you so much for subscribing, for following along. To those of you who have been watching us for the last couple of years, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will see y'all on tomorrow's video.
Bye, everybody.